Patrick Mahomes has been electric. I think that's actually an understatement. Patrick Mahomes has been insane over the last few years. The guy who once was projected to be a bust coming out of college has become an NFL superstar and is already in the conversation as one of the best quarterbacks ever, whether he deserves that or not. The Kansas City Chiefs have benefited greatly from Mahomes' play, as guys like Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill have become superstars, Andy Reid has cemented his legacy as the head coach, and overall, the Chiefs look like they're going to be the next dynasty. With Tom Brady leading for the Buccaneers, it looked like the Patriots were on the downfall and the Chiefs were the new team in the AFC. Well, they lost in the Super Bowl last year to the Bucs, which in my opinion wasn't that shocking, but in 2021, everything has sort of fallen apart, and what the heck is going on with the Chiefs right now? Patrick Mahomes has looked like a shell of his old self as he has thrown 9 interceptions. The rushing game and passing game has been stagnant, the defense hasn't been there, and it looks like there's a general disconnect between everything. After a close win against the Browns in Week 1, they've dropped 4 of their last 6 games. Yes, 4 of them came to likely playoff teams in the Ravens, Chargers, Bills, and Titans, but they struggled against the Eagles, and overall it looks like the wheels are falling off. In today's video, I'm going to give you a timeline of what's gone on with the Chiefs so far, how they got to this point, why I think they're struggling so much, and what I think happens from here. But before we get into today's video, I don't usually do NFL videos on this channel, so if you want to support this kind of content, be sure to hit that like button and give me your thoughts, as that'll really help with the algorithm. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you love football content, and turn on post notifications so you never miss when I upload. Now let's get started and talk about the downfall of the Kansas City Chiefs. So if we go back in time a little bit, Patrick Mahomes was never supposed to be the player he was today. When he arrived at Texas Tech, he was only a 3-star recruit and was not supposed to be a superstar by any means. Cliff Kingsbury would develop him, and after Davis Webb had left, Mahomes finally got his chance to start. Things were pretty good for him in 2015. He threw for over 4,653 yards and 36 touchdowns, but he did have 15 picks. In his junior year, he got even better as he led the country in passing yards, set multiple Big 12 records, and passed for over 5,000 yards and 53 touchdowns. This was incredible, and Mahomes began to blow up when the NFL Combine rolled around. He was seen as a boomer-bust type prospect, and the Chiefs wanted to take a chance on him. They had Alex Smith, who was an above-average starter, and had been leading them to the playoffs. They wanted to move in a direction where they could sign a guy who could bring them to that next level. Mahomes ended up getting drafted with the 10th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, and he would sit behind Alex Smith for a year. That's where things got pretty crazy. In 2018, Smith was traded to the Redskins, and Mahomes was now the starting quarterback. He was insane as he threw for over 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and was the MVP of the league. He ended up leading them to the playoffs where they would beat the Indianapolis Colts in the first round and then would take on the New England Patriots. Had Dee Ford not jumped off sides, that game could have been different, but Tom Brady and Bill Belichick made sure to put the young MVP in his place and show him that it wasn't his time just yet. The Chiefs fell short, but Mahomes would bounce back in 2019. While he wouldn't pass for over 5,000 yards again, he still had a great year. He passed for 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns and would lead them to the playoffs once again. In what was one of the craziest games ever, he led them on an insane comeback against the Houston Texans. Then they'd beat them, beat the Titans, and get all the way to the Super Bowl. They were matched up with the Cinderella team of the year in the San Francisco 49ers, and the Chiefs would win 31-20, giving Mahomes his first ring. At this point, it looked like a dynasty was starting, and that the Chiefs were going to become unbeatable as Mahomes got even better. Well, it really did look that way. Mahomes improved his numbers to nearly 5,000 yards once again, and had 38 touchdowns and only 6 picks. The Chiefs were back and better than ever, and he once again led them to a deep run into the playoffs. They would beat the Browns in a thriller in the first round, and then they would take care of the Bills by 2 touchdowns. The Chiefs would get back to the Super Bowl, but this is where the downfall begins. The Buccaneers won 31-9, Mahomes struggled, and it looked like things were starting to fall apart for the Chiefs a little bit. Well, no need to worry, right? 2021 they bounced back better than ever, and the Chiefs would be the same old team. Well, it hasn't quite gone that way. This is where the downfall starts. Well, when you take a look at how they've done in 2021, let's see. In Week 1, they were matched up with the Cleveland Browns, who at the time were one of the favorites to compete with them in the AFC. The game went down to the wire, but Mahomes lit a late comeback, and they won 33-29. All was well, right? No. The following week, they'd have a chance to ice the game, but a late fumble would prove to be costly, and the Baltimore Ravens would win 36-35. Then, after that, the Chiefs would go back to Arrowhead and play against the Chargers. Justin Herbert proved just how good he was as they won that game 30-24, and the Chiefs had now dropped to 1-2. Thankfully, they got somewhat of a tune-up game on the road against the Eagles as they won 42-30, and then they'd have another big matchup on Sunday Night Football. In this game, the Buffalo Bills absolutely shredded the Kansas City defense and won 38-20, and Mahomes and the offense could just not stay in the game and put up enough points to be competitive. After that, they beat the Washington football team. Then this past weekend, things got really bad as Mahomes threw 3 picks. The offense only scored 3 points, and the Titans won 27-3. The Chiefs are now 3-4, and if the playoffs started today, they would not make it. This team was supposed to be the next dynasty, and what has gone wrong for them? Well, here's a crazy stat. From 2018 to 2020, Mahomes had never lost a regular season game by more than 8 points. They've now done that twice in the last 3 weeks with their losses to the Titans and the Bills, and something is a little bit off for him. The offense hasn't been bad though. Before, it was pretty much generational, but now it's just above average. The rushing game has been solid, Mahomes has been decent at times, and not a whole lot is that different. Going back to that rushing game, their yards per carry average is actually 5th in the NFL, and that is fine, but the NFL is no longer a running league, and if the Chiefs' best player is Clyde Edwards-Helaire or whoever's in the backfield, that's a problem. They have guys like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and this offense is out of this world when they are throwing the ball correctly. Mahomes is still above the league average in pretty much every statistical category, but the problem has been the turnovers. The offensive line hasn't been that different, but Mahomes has just been forcing the issue. He seemingly is in his head, and maybe a couple of those 50-50 balls that weren't intercepted in the past are now going against him. We've seen how many wild throws and how many crazy things he's gotten away with over the last few years, and maybe the law of averages is coming back to get him. I don't know though. Also, it could be the distraction of off-the-field stuff. Recently, his wife has been under fire, and the Kansas City fanbase is starting to turn on her, as she's been pretty annoying on Twitter, and as we all know, his brother Jackson Mahomes has been annoying and doesn't bring much to the table either. Now Mahomes' family's in the press a lot, and a lot of people are talking about them, and that's not helping anything, as he is struggling on the football field, and he needs to focus on that, and not about the crap going on behind the scenes. Now you may be asking, well Scott, the Chiefs always have a bad defense, and the offense always makes up for it, so what's going on? Well, the system the Chiefs have put into place over the last few years has been this: have an elite level offense that scores a ton of points, and have a below average to average defense that can limit enough points that your offense can always outscore them. Well, the key thing is that the defense has to be average or below average. They've been abysmal. They rank near the bottom in pretty much every statistical category. The secondary has been terrible, as I know Brad Sorensen has been under fire, especially against the Bills. There's just been too many times where they've gotten beat. The linebackers have also been underwhelming, as while the rookie Nick Bolton does lead the team in tackles, he's gotten a lot of fire, and I don't really understand why. The pass rush hasn't been able to do enough, and the run defense has been terrible. So, to summarize what I just said, pretty much all levels of the defense have been bad, and I don't really know what they can do to fix it. Defense has been a problem the last few years for the Chiefs, but it's always been good enough to at least allow their offense to win games. Until Mahomes gets going and gets out of whatever mental rut he's in, I think this losing streak for the Chiefs is going to continue. Well, if I had to put money on what would happen, I would say they get it together and make the playoffs. I think this is a little bit of a down year and a humbling experience for this team and organization. Many thought they were the next dynasty in the making, and it just goes to show you that no matter what kind of weapon and what kind of prestige a team has, things can fall apart quickly with just a couple of changes. If I had to pick 3 reasons why the Chiefs have struggled this year, the first one would be the defense being historically bad. The second one would be Mahomes' mental health, as I think something is going on behind the scenes and he's not fully there. And finally, I just think some of the 50-50 balls that used to go the Chiefs' way are now going in the defense's favor. What do I know though? If you're a Chiefs fan or an NFL fan, let me know your theory on what's gone on with the Chiefs this year so far down in the comment section, how you think you can fix things, and what the future of the team is looking like. I'm not an NFL expert by any means, but I definitely tried my best, and be sure to let me know how you think I did. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.